So today I'm going to show you the first of the systems that you can use. This is the most basic, and this involves just a plastic tub. Any kind of plastic tub will do as long as it's got a tight fitting lid. A tight fitting lid is very, very important. The whole premise of these systems is that you've got very high humidity in them. Without this high humidity level within the containers, you are going to fail. Your plants are going to die. Some people say that you need up to 80% and even more humidity. Now this is very, very important. If you do not have a tight fitting lid that keeps all the moisture in, your plants will not survive and they will not thrive. So when you're buying a plastic tub, make sure it's a snap-on lid that is very, very snug, or it's got clips that hold it down, because a loose fitting lid will just not do. Now once again, this is species dependent, but I'm going to show you the first of the tubs. This is just mini propagator. You can buy them in any garden center. If you're going to use something like this, make sure that you can tape these edges down. You do not want any moisture coming out. If you find that the moisture content is too high, they've got these little rotating lids that you can open and shut. So the idea with one of these is that you will put your soil layer on the bottom of this. You'll put your plants directly on top of this, and you will wet it thoroughly. Now once again, this is plant dependent. Some plant species take better than others. Some plant species will thrive in this kind of system and some won't. This system is more for species like Anubias, cryptococcus, things like that, things that will thrive on top of the soil. Cryptococcus, obviously you will bury the roots in the soil. This is the simplest method. You can use any kind of tub for this. Now, I've got another tub. This is a cheap plastic tub I bought in Asda's. Comes with these snap-on lids, so you can snap them, and that keeps all the humidity inside them. So I'll just open one of these up to show you. Now you wouldn't believe it, I've actually got Java fern growing in one of these. Well, in fact, I've got many tubs with Java fern. That's it there. Now there's actually a little trick to growing Java fern in soil. Everywhere you read and everybody you speak to will tell you that Java fern will rot if you try and grow them like this. And this is true. If you take the rhizome of Java fern and try and place it inside the soil, or if you try and take an adult Java fern plant, even if you place it just on top of the soil, it will die. The rhizome of Java fern do not like to be covered. And adult plants with developed leaves that you've purchased that have been sitting in fish tanks will not be able to adapt to an immersed system, and they will die off. You can get little baby Java fern inside these pots. You'll find them at the end of the rhizomes. You can break them off. You'll also find the little Java ferns on the actual leaves themselves of adult plants. You can take them off and you can successfully plant them into a system like this. Eventually, when they get bigger, you can then transfer them into a different system. But growing them on top of the soil like this is very, very successful for baby Java fern. In fact, there are many, many species that will grow like this. I'll show you again. As you can see, the plants are getting quite big now. And I started this off from maybe just a couple of leaves each when they were just tiny. And they've been standing now for about 4 weeks and they've grown quite large. I suspect that in about another 2 weeks I'm going to have to replant this into a different type of immersed setup. So of course you will use that size of tub for if you're using them in the windowsill, which I've been using for these Java fern. Now you can go up market with this and you can go for a larger tub. This is a bigger tub yet. Now you can place soil in these tubs and replicate exactly what I showed you there, or you can plant your plants into little pots. You can keep them in this system, or you can float the plants into this kind of system. There's various techniques, but these are perfect for the soil method where you put the soil in the tub. You can use any kind of gardening compost soil, the darker the better. And you place about ½ an inch of soil in the tank here. You make it very, very damp, and you place your plants directly on top of this. Once again, it is species specific. So you need to know what plants thrive best on top of the soil. This will take anywhere between 4 weeks and 6 months, and you will see your plants double in size, if not even larger, and you will be able to take cuttings from them and keep expanding your system like that. Now, I've got a lot of fish tanks lying around the house. I've got so many breeding tanks. I've always got spare tanks lying around. So I've decided to use fish tanks for my particular system. I'm going to show you now the little fish tank that I use, or fish tanks. I've got many. So I've got 2 containers within this fish tank, and each container contains soil, and I've put the plants directly into them. Now the centerpiece is just a piece of bogwood that I'm preparing within a Emersed system. It's got anubis on it, it's got tiny Java fern, and it's got Java moss on it. So this has been sitting away like this for about 4 weeks and doing very well. I've got a tight plastic lid that I've got on there, and I've also put cellophane around the top to prevent any of the air getting out. Now I miss this particular one maybe once or twice a day, and I make sure there's sufficient water in there to keep it wet all the time. To sum up the basic system, you can use any kind of plastic container or fish tank. Most important part being that it is completely airtight. You do not want any air escaping other than when you are venting it. The whole reason for this is to keep the humidity extremely high. Once you've bought your tub and your soil and you put your plants on top, it is relatively low maintenance, although you have to keep misting or watering the plants. You can keep these tubs on the windowsill, and they're cheap and easy. So you can fill up these tubs with soil, so you're using basically the soil method. Or if you're building aquascapes and you're using bogwood, you can place the bogwood or rocks or bamboo directly into a system like this, as long as it's deep enough, and away you go. There's nothing to it. Now these plastic containers, you can buy them absolutely anywhere. Your pound stores, your supermarkets, and they will cost you anywhere from £1 up to maybe £10, and that is a sum total of the cost of your project, other than your type of soil that you're going to have and the type of plants that you're going to be keeping. It's a very cheap system. There are more advanced systems on top of this. So next I'll be talking about how you can upgrade your plastic tubs or fish tanks to the next system.